Okay, let's go.
What if you could take 9 years of trading experience, all the wins, all the brutal losses, thousands of pages of notes, and boil it all down to just 9 essential lessons? Well, that's exactly what we're about to do. These are the psychological shifts that can literally change everything for you in the markets.
And listen, this isn't some textbook theory. We're talking about real-world stuff here. These are the exact mindset shifts that took one trader from being completely bankrupt at 20 years old to having over $3 million by the time he was 29. I mean, what a turnaround, right? It really makes you ask one big question.
So, how in the world did that happen? It wasn't some secret, complicated strategy or some magic algorithm. Nope, the answer was psychology. The entire journey from broke to millions was paved with these huge mental breakthroughs. So let's get right into the first one.
Okay, so first things first, you have to master your inner game. Look, every single trader learns this lesson, usually the hard way. The market, it's not your real opponent. The real battle is the one happening right between your ears.
So how do you do it? It really comes down to 3 foundational shifts. First, you've got to learn to zoom out and see the big picture. When you do that, it allows you to do the second thing, which is to totally eliminate expectations. And once that pressure's gone, you can finally focus on what really matters, just learning from every single trade. Let's start with getting that long-term perspective.
You've heard it a million times, right? Trading is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a cliche for a reason. It is so easy to get sucked into the daily roller coaster of wins and losses. But honestly, one bad day or even a bad week, it's just a blip. It's meaningless in the long run. Real lasting success is built slowly, brick by brick, just by trusting your process over time.
So that number you're seeing, minus $12,000, that came from one single trade on Boeing. But the story here isn't really about the money. It's about the expectation. The trader was so sure this was going to be a huge win that when it went south, the frustration was so intense, he literally punched a hole in a wall. That's the real price of expectations. The big breakthrough happens when you learn to expect nothing. A loss? It's just data. A win? Cool. That's just confirmation you followed your plan.
And that leads us to maybe the biggest paradox in all of trading. Here it is. The consistent money only started showing up after the focus moved away from the money. It's kind of wild, right? Instead of obsessing over the P&L, the new focus became, what's the lesson here? Win or lose, what can I learn from this? Because the money, that's just the scoreboard. The real game is flawless execution.
All right, so you've got your head right. Now it's time to talk about execution. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's all about turning that strong mindset into disciplined, concrete action, day in and day out.
This discipline really stands on 3 legs. First, making sure you only trade when you're at your absolute best, your A game. This then allows you to be incredibly picky, waiting for only the best setups. And finally, it all has to be built on a foundation of radical accountability. You have to own everything.
So what does it even mean to trade with your A game? It means doing a quick mental check-in every single morning before the market opens. Ask yourself, how'd I sleep last night? Am I actually focused right now, or is my mind somewhere else? Am I feeling anxious? Are there any outside distractions bugging me? And if you're not at your best, you either don't trade that day or you trade super small. Your physical state is directly linked to your financial state. They're connected.
This is where a lot of new traders get it totally wrong. They think more trades means more money. But the reality is the complete opposite. Being picky is what makes you profitable. Think of it like a pro fisherman. They don't just stand there casting their line over and over again. No way. They wait, and they wait patiently for that perfect opportunity. You need to treat your trades the same way. Wait for that A-plus setup you know inside and out, and only then do you act.
The last piece of this discipline puzzle comes down to owning your decisions. And you know what the tool was that made this happen? A simple physical notebook. The big turning point came when the trader just got sick and tired of breaking promises to himself. So he wrote down his non-negotiable rules. And something about the physical act of putting pen to paper, it just created this level of commitment that changed everything.
All of this discipline, all of this mindset work, it all serves one primary purpose: surviving so you can trade tomorrow. In this game, the best offense is a really good defense. It's all about longevity.
Now, the secrets to longevity are pretty simple to understand, but man, are they hard to master. It really just comes down to 3 rules. First, and most importantly, you have to protect your capital. Second, you have to adapt to the market instead of fighting the trend.
And third, you have to learn to let go of FOMO and just accept the trades you miss.
This brings us to a huge reframing of what your job actually is. Your number one goal as a trader isn't to make money. It's to not lose money. You have to start seeing yourself as a risk manager first and a trader second. The biggest winners in the long run aren't the ones with the most spectacular gains. They're the ones who are masters at keeping their losses small and controlled. The profits are just a natural byproduct of excellent risk management.
And this is a painful reminder of what happens when you forget that role. After being up almost $1 million one year, overconfidence started to creep in. The focus shifted from protecting capital to just chasing a bigger number. And in just 1 month, nearly $90,000 was given right back to the market. A brutal, but absolutely invaluable lesson.
The second rule of survival is simple. Stop fighting the market. You will lose. There's a classic saying for a reason. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Your job isn't to predict the future. It's to adapt to the present. If the trend is up, you go long. If it's down, you go short. The survivors aren't the strongest traders. They're the most adaptable ones.
And finally, you have to absolutely kill your FOMO, that fear of missing out. It is one of the biggest account killers there is. You miss a perfect setup, and then you feel that urge to chase it. Don't. Chasing a trade almost always leads to a loss. The mature, professional mindset is to just accept it and move on. Think of it this way. Trades are like buses. If you miss one, there's always another one coming right around the corner. Your job is to make sure you have the capital and the calm mindset to be there when it arrives.
So after 9 years and 9 lessons, what does this all really boil down to? It comes down to one final check, a single powerful idea that ties everything we've talked about together.
Discipline over dopamine. That's it. That's the whole game. It's the constant moment-to-moment choice to do the hard, systematic thing over the easy, exciting, impulsive thing. It's choosing the long-term plan over the short-term thrill. Every single lesson we've covered today comes right back to this one principle.
And that leaves us with one final question for you. It's the same one that triggered the massive change we talked about at the very beginning. So really think about this. In your trading, or, in any part of your life, what is the one promise to yourself that, starting today, you will finally stop breaking?